Hey there YouTube. Today I'm doing a 1 year and 3 month later review on this Shark Wandvac that I got from Costco. I gotta say, for the 80 bucks I paid for this, uh, it doesn't owe me anything. I've put this through so much torture and it has not died. I suck up drywall dust, sawdust, wet spaghetti, pretty much anything. I don't hold back when I'm using this. And it just keeps going. In fact, I actually almost killed it once. I have another video on my channel where I tried to suck up baking soda to get the smell of campfire out of this, because I actually used this to stoke a campfire and stoke a grill. I used the air out of the exhaust ports to stoke the fire, and it sucked a lot of the smoke in, and it still smells like smoke to this day. But that is my fault and not the fault of the shark. But anyway, I almost killed it. I sucked in baking soda to try to deodorize it, and I took the whole motor apart, cleaned it out, put it back together, and it still works. So I gotta say, I'm really impressed. Now, I just don't want to talk about durability, I want to talk about function. I do have some observations about this after over a year of use. The dust bin, oh, my wife sucked up glitter with it. Oh no! Oh, this is perfect. My wife sucked up some glitter with it, and now I have glitter everywhere. I guess I'll just clean that up. Okay, anyway, the thing with the bin is that it fills up pretty quick for larger messes. And also, if you're sucking up something like drywall dust or sawdust, which I do with projects around the house, you might not. Maybe if you're sucking up like flour or sugar or something, this might be relevant to you. The surface area of the filter is relatively small, so that you'll get 50% of this full, but then the filter will be totally saturated with material, and you'll have to empty it and possibly even clean out the filter. Sometimes you can get away with just emptying it, but a lot of times the filter is just caked. Everything comes apart pretty easy to clean, like I said in my first video. This little flap, after sucking up wet stuff like kids' food that they spill and things like that, it gets a little cruddy, and I have to wash it with a damp rag to kind of get this flap to work again. So that's just because I abuse it, but that's just one minor issue I've found. Let me show you the filter. I do wish it was easier to pop this filter out, actually. You have to like really push this sometimes. So yeah, the filters can get jammed up and you have to bang them out. I've actually replaced this 3 times now, this filter. I just bought one on Amazon. Actually, while I'm on that topic, don't just buy the cheapest one on Amazon. Make sure the design looks just like this, like the factory one, because one cheap one I got on Amazon, it was just like a rubber seal, and it didn't have this, I don't know what you would even call it, this flappy this seal, the way that it holds pressure against the unit. If you use something that just is round and compresses, and then it's not very strong, you'll get crap in your motor. So this looks just like the factory one. That's like a lot more expensive. I got this one for 14 bucks for a 4-pack. I'll put a affiliate link in the description. The company might not exist anymore, but if it does, I'll put it in there. But no matter which one you buy, make sure it looks kind of like this, because I did have issues with the other ones not working quite so well. Alright, so this is the factory one, and this gasket actually makes contact with the entire perimeter of the holder. You can see, and there's friction when you push it in. And this is the new Wise. and it kind of just falls in there. It doesn't really have friction against the edge of the case. And one thing I don't like about this is that when you're using the attachments, you put it in, and I gotta say these attachments are pretty great, but when you're using them, you you have a moment where you're running around trying to get stuff done and you don't put it back in the charger. You lay it down, right? And a couple days go by, you keep picking up using it, and you know, after a week or two, the battery's dead because you're too lazy to put it back on the charger. But that's more of a me problem, I guess. I did have an issue with the charger base not charging. I set it down and it wouldn't charge, and I cleaned up the contacts. I'm like, why won't this charge? The actual issue was that the thing sits in was actually just full of crap, because once you turn this off, sometimes things are still in the chute here before it goes through that flap and into storage. Like, it's basically a check valve. The stuff falls back down and goes in here, and it had piled up over the year, and I set it down and there was just enough crud down in the very corner here, and it was holding it just off the contacts, and you couldn't really tell just looking at it. It looked normal, like it was sitting on the base right, but once I cleaned that crud out, I set it back in, and then it charged just fine. Speaking of charging and battery, I did want to point out that I have not had any issues with this battery dying prematurely, other than when I've left it off the charger for a long time. That's my fault. I just also want to note the battery is replaceable. When they sell aftermarket batteries, you just use a flathead screwdriver and pop this battery off. I'm not going to show you right now because I actually dropped this and cracked it the other day. I don't want to play with fire there. But I'll splice in a little video here of me removing this battery when I was tearing it apart so you can see how it comes out. Alright, so now I'm going to test the battery after a year and 3 months. I'm going to set up a camera and turn it on and see how long it takes this battery to drain. The filter is pretty new, so that does affect the battery life greatly. If your filter's clogged, it has to work harder. You can actually hear the tone change when it's full. And one thing people kept posting in the comments of my first video is, how long does this thing take to actually charge? Well, I'll answer that now. Okay, so the results are in. I did 3 battery life tests and 3 charging tests. On drain test number 3, I actually obstructed half of the nozzle to kind of add some load to it, and you could actually hear it sounded like it was working a little bit more, but it didn't really affect the battery life. You can see here that it takes between 2 hours and 9 minutes and 2 hours and 28 minutes to charge, and the battery is depleted between 9 minutes and 39 seconds and 10 minutes and 2 seconds. So it's right about where it was in battery life when I bought it, even though we've been using this thing pretty steadily. So pretty impressed. I'm not too concerned about the battery right now, but when the time comes, I'll probably look for a good aftermarket battery, to be honest. Yeah, anyway, that's all I got. If you have any questions, please post them in the comments. I have no life, so I will answer them relatively quickly. And thanks for watching.